Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Abby Grace and today I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how to shoot your own block pictures or self-portrait. So, what you're going to need is a tripod, a remote timer, a camera and a lens of your choice, and a laptop. You might wonder why you need a laptop. The reason you need a laptop is after you're done shooting, you want to be able to look through your pictures to make sure you got the shots you want and they're not all blurry before you leave your location. You don't want to leave your location and get home and start editing the picture to find out they're all blurry and they don't look good. So before you leave your location, upload those pictures you took to your laptop and double check that everything looks okay. So, now let's just go straight to the tips. My number one tips on shooting your self-portrait: be patient with yourself. You're not gonna get it the first time you try it. Like, it's a learning process, so be patient. It's all about try and error. You try it this way and it might work, and you try it a different way, it might not. So it's all about try and error until you find what works for you. And number two, know your equipment. I cannot stress about it. Know how your camera works, know how your remote timer works, know how your lens, what kind of lens you have. So before you get to the location, you know the knowledge of what you're working with. You don't want to get there and be trying to learn everything. It's just too much stress on yourself. So know how your equipment works beforehand. 3, move your body, move your tripod. So don't stand in one location the entire time you're shooting, and don't have your tripod standing in the same place the entire time you're shooting. Just think about it: when you're shooting with a photographer, you're moving and so is the photographer. You don't both stand still just looking at each other the entire time. That doesn't look good for anybody. So make sure you move your body and move your tripod to get different angles, to get different cool shots. And 4, when you're shooting self-portrait, make sure you hide the remote. It's really hard to sometimes depending on what you're wearing, but always try to hide the remote. I think it gives a picture a higher quality when I can't see the remote that the person is using to shoot. Now I'm going to give you some tips on how to focus your pictures, because as everyone always says, I can't get my pictures to focus when I'm shooting self-portrait. It's hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's super easy. It's really hard to do. So, one tip that I have to say is, again, patience. I can't stress about how you have to be patient with this. So once you have your camera all set up, make a mark of where you're going to stand. Like let's say I'm shooting behind a wall. Of course, right now I'm not behind a wall. Let's say I'm shooting behind a wall. And so what I'm going to do is I'm carrying a bunch of stuff when I go shooting. So I literally put something on the wall, behind the wall, and focus my camera on that. And then once my camera is focused, I will go stand behind what I focused my camera on, and that will make my camera focus. Or if I'm like by a ranch area, I'll hang my jacket over something and focus it on something. Or typically I shoot in the woods where there's usually nothing behind me. It's more open space area. So what I do, for me, that it works, I always focus on my shoes. So I remove my shoes and I'll go stand behind the camera and I'll focus on the shoes that I will be wearing on that area, and then I go stand and I come back here and I slip onto my shoes and I start shooting. But I don't come right back and start shooting. I come back here and I give my camera a second to find me. Find my body, find where I am, and then I start shooting. You don't want to come right back here and just start clicking away, because yes, your picture's going to be blurry because the camera hasn't found you. So give your camera a second to find where you're standing, and I promise it will find you. We're going to talk about tripod positions. There's different ways you can, depending on what kind of pictures you want, you can position your tripod in so many different ways. But my favorite, the one thing I suggest, when shooting a full body look, you never, ever, ever, I can't stress it enough, ever want to shoot. You never want to shoot your full body look from above you, because what happens is the camera shortens you. So to create that elongated look, put your tripod below your waist or just a little bit lower, and I promise you, you will get that perfect full body shot for all your pictures. That's how it happens. And also, if you want it to be more dramatic, you want it to make you look like you're 7 feet, have your camera lower. And then when you're shooting portraits, it all depends on how close of a portrait you want it to be. If you want it to be exact face, then have your lens, your camera right as your height. But if you want it more closer or just from an angle, so you switch the angles. So those are my tips. Here are some shots I just took of this look right after shooting this video, and if I can do it and get these shots, so can you. I believe in you. Be patient. It's a learning process, and I promise once you have that amazing picture you took, you'll be so glad that you took it. 2, know your equipment. Know what you're working with before you start shooting. It will make your life so much easier. 3, when trying to focus, create a mark. Make a mark and focus your camera on it before you get to that mark. And 4, have fun shooting. It's so much fun. Like, put on some music and just have fun with it, so you don't, it's less awkward if you're listening to music, and just have fun. And I promise you'll get some amazing pictures. Like, once I started shooting with a tripod, I haven't gone back, I have to say. If you have any questions on self-portraits or self-blogging pictures, or like how I find my location, just anything, just comment down below and I promise I will answer them.